Hey y'all! Welcome back to the Optimized Mind podcast, where we explore the ways in which we can define our own unique context, build resilience, and maximize potential. I'm Dr. Kate, your host, and I'm glad you're here. Today, I'm joined by Karen Bartholomew, founder of the Pause Method. Our conversation focuses on how Karen helps women identify and break free from limiting subconscious patterns. Karen walks us through each step of the Pause Method: pattern recognition, acknowledgement, understanding, shifting the narrative, and embracing new possibilities. She explains how these actionable steps create the foundation for lasting change and increased resilience, especially in the face of life's inevitable challenges. Please help me in welcoming Karen Bartholomew to the Optimized Mind. So welcome, Karen. Thanks so much for joining us here on the Optimized Mind today.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. I can't wait to share this message.
Yes, well, I am very excited to have you as well. And I thought we could start out with you giving us a little bit of an overview of your path and how you got to where you are now.
Yeah, so I am one of 5 children and born in the Bay Area, California. I have an older brother who's 15 months older and a younger brother who's 18 months younger, and then 6 years and 6 and 12 years below that, my 2 sisters. And so, back in the day, I realized when I was about maybe 10 or 12 that I didn't really feel like I was a part of the family at some point, because I think at the time my mom, I love her dearly, no, qualms to her, but like she really favored the boys, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think and over the years we've acknowledged this, her and I, right? So and so I kind of got lost in the shuffle a little bit. I felt a little unseen and not heard. And I didn't really feel like anybody was ever checking in on me to see how I was doing. So I felt like I really didn't matter in the family a little bit. And that transpired into my adult life, basically. When I really was able to take a journey with myself in 2010, I realized when I was looking at how I was playing life that I really took those messages, those subconscious messages that I had, and I brought them in my adult life, which actually really wasn't working in my adult life. Because of course, if I'm focused on not being seen, heard, or not matter, then I'm attracting those people in my life so I can feel right in my subconscious brain, right? So it's just this horrible hamster wheel that I was on. And I think I got to the point in 2010 that I'm like, I'm just sick of this. I'm sick of me. And I'm just going to go take myself on. Like, I'm going to go figure this out. Right.
Nice.
And at the time I had 3 small children. I mean, I had a newborn, I had a 4-year-old, and I had a 9-year-old. So I just really had to figure it out if I was going to not just live in this crazy, just busy, not happy, unfulfilled, unjoyful. It just was getting to that point. So yeah, so that's kind of a little bit of my backstory, and then how I got to take yourself on, Karen, and really make that happen. And when I did that for 4 months. I took a class and found out, how I played life, from an awareness standpoint. I took it on to another class that I took it on physically and mentally. And then I took a leadership class to find out how I led from the front, from the back, from the side with 70 other women. And then I ended up taking a 90-day course that was really about getting some real stuff done in 90 days. And then I became a coach, and then I became a coach of coaches for that organization. And then I realized that, wow, this is fantastic work. And I really was passionate about it. And I really wanted to bring it to other people. I did that for them for 10 years. And then it just got to a point that I was like, I want to do it for myself. And the reason why I came to that conclusion was my oldest daughter said, I don't know why you keep doing this for other people. If you ever want real truth about you, ask your kid.
Spot on. Absolutely. Yes, it's the whole reason that I started this podcast. My kids said, stop waiting, Mom, just hit record.
Yeah.
So
just do it.
So here we are. Very cool. Yes. So got it. So then you started on building your own coaching company at that point.
Not at that point. I actually worked for them for the 10 years till 2020. And then I also was doing some sales coaching because I've been in the mortgage business for 20 years. So I was doing some sales coaching as well. I loved both things, but what I realized is both different organizations were not doing the opposite really
Right.
well. They were dabbling in it, but not really well. Unless you got a great coach that knew personal development, you didn't
Right.
get that. Unless you got a good coach over here that knew sales and how to scale businesses, you didn't get that. And so I was like, I wanted to create something that could bring the two things together so I could actually help high achieving women like get unstuck, have more balance, scale their businesses, help them start out, like I did. And so I really went full force about 3 years ago on this. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Love it. And I love the evolution and the awareness that you came to that point. Like, wait a second, I need to make some changes. I need to shift gears to
Yeah.
access who I really am so I can maximize my potential within my own unique context. And it seems like that's really what you've done, you're doing. It's because, I mean, we're never done with that, right? It's always a work in
Oh, never.
progress.
I'm
Like we're
always
always
learning and growing. Yeah.
building and learning and growing and
Yes.
all of those
I still
things.
get stuck like all the time. I'm
Sure,
just quicker to get out of it,
absolutely right. And that is the key, right? Because we're all going to get stuck. We're all gonna hit challenges daily, right? But how is it that we circumvent those challenges, that we move through and beyond them to the other side so we can keep going? Yeah, such an important question. But let's talk a bit about kind of the core of what you're doing, the pause method, and
Okay.
and and
That's exciting.
and what that looks
And yeah,
like.
and just on that note about me, diving deep into, me, getting sick of myself and figuring it out, it really took other people because I could not do it by myself. Right. So
Right.
that's why I encourage people to like find an outlet, find a community where you can find a safe space, a safe container where you really can be authentic and vulnerable and take risk, right? Where you're not going to be judged and you can just like, expand, and if you fail at something, that's okay because that was a learned lesson. You just got to pivot, right? Just pivot. That didn't work. And we just keep pivoting. What I realized with the pause method is I was doing that for people, but I didn't really know what. So when I stopped and
Mm.
I looked at the actual steps that I was taking, I'm like, oh, I can turn this into a method and really like have a foundation to help women. Um, I am passionate about helping women. So this is why I coach women. I mean, men have asked and I have coached men, but I would rather,
Mhm.
because that's just where my heart is. So
Yeah, I love it.
yeah. So let's just talk about it. I mean, I created the pause method because there is a space between how we get triggered about something and then we get upset, right? And
Mhm.
there's this gap in between of like, well, how can we might like get a little, but not like react to it because
Mhm.
human beings were reactionary beings. That's how we are, right? It's from the beginning of time. That's who we've been. And so that's kind of where I started it. And so the pause, I took every letter and I created the method that way. So just to walk you through it, the P stands for pattern recognition, to actually perceive it, like to become aware, right? So really to
Mhm.
identify the subconscious belief or the default reaction that we're having that's shaping your current experience. Okay. So the question you would ask yourself is, what story am I telling myself right now? And is it rooted in truth or past conditioning? So
Mhm.
people go, well, what's past conditioning, right? Well, it's
Mhm.
everything from the time we are 2 years old, right? All the way up of everybody who's in our life. They're telling us what to do, what not to do. Like, to the point where you could be on stage as a little girl singing and someone's told you you're not a good singer. And then you carry that message with you into adulthood. And you might be a
Right.
great singer. But now we're not singing because someone told you way back when that you weren't a good singer, right? So, that kind of stuff. And so past conditioning, all the subconscious stuff that we just do from a survival mechanism, right? We're survival beings. So we're just surviving and we're just doing things on autopilot. One of the big examples I use is like driving when you learn to drive a car. I remember I learned in a VW Bug with a stick shift. And it was horrifying, like to be looking at the side mirror, the rear view mirror, my dad, like, hoping that I don't kill him. Right. And like the clutch and like, and all the stuff. And so, but now I can drive a clutch and I can like put my makeup on. Right. And I get to my driveway and I don't even know how I got here. I mean,
It's
that's called
integrated. It's integrated.
autopilot,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Just know. So it's the same thing, like even when kids learn how to eat their food, right? Like you just learn, right? And now we can eat without even, figuring out what we're doing. I mean, or it would be horrible if we were like, oh, let me just eat and put it on the side of my cheek, right? Like that would be really bad. So it's the same kind of thing, right? So subconsciously, we know what we're supposed to be doing. And it's just the same thing with life. So that's the first step. The second step is the A, which is to acknowledge the acceptance of what is. Okay. So any circumstance that comes up without resistance or judgment, right? So something comes up and we go back and go, what happened? What was that? Why am I triggered by this? What happened when I was younger, such that I'm still triggered by that, and not having any judgment or anything, but just going, we really want to explore it. So I love the word explore because what people usually do when they're triggered, or they're not happy, they think everything's outside of themselves, right? So they're searching outside of themselves to bring joy and fulfillment and happiness, but it's not outside of yourself. It's really inside of you. Okay. So like how you feel when something amazing happens, right? That's not because something happened. You just pulled out that amazing joy and love and respect for yourself that you were able to see it, right? And like feel it. And so to really fully accept it, and acceptance isn't a resignation, okay? Because things happened to me when I was younger that were, very traumatic, and I'm not condoning that kind of behavior or anything. However, right? I'm saying that I can look at that and there's evidence that that was really horrible in my life, but that was then, right?
Right.
So in other sense, if we deep dive and we go, okay, well, the message is I'm not safe. Well, let's look back into your childhood and go, well, where do you remember the first time being not safe? Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so through a series of questions and a series of coaching and whatnot, I'm able to help people come over here and go, well, but today,
Mm.
is that true? You're not safe. Right.
Right. So shifting the paradigm from what was to what
Yes.
really is, and letting go of that thing that was, that may have held us back, or has the potential to hold us back now if we're not letting it go.
Yeah. And you look at that and you go, okay, so how does it feel like walking around as a woman not safe? Like really like think back, like it's been like someone who's in their 40s, it's been like 30 years of walking around like that, and you hear stories like, it's exhausting. I mean, I remember when I was like walking around wanting to be loved because I didn't feel loved. I'm like, it's exhausting. You're manipulating and you're like, you're doing all these weird things to have that inside of you when, it is inside of you.
Mhm.
However, if that's not a truth, and the truth is you are safe, and we talk about all the ways that you're safe, and then I ask a woman, like, so what would it feel like today? Really feel in your body. What would it feel like to walk around safe every day when you wake up?
Mhm.
And then you can see the nervous system, like just kind of like really relax, and they can actually get a vision of what that would look like, right? So that whole unwinding, untangling, understanding out, that's the you that I just talked about.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Of what is this belief? What if this belief isn't true is the question. Okay. And then what is this situation trying to teach me? But then
Mm.
you really need guidance because people get stuck and they're like, I don't know. I don't know what they feel like. I've been so in this for so long, I can't even imagine. But if
Mm.
you sit with people in a safe space for a long enough period of time, they can start imagining with your help, right? And so that's where the real magic happens. Yeah, and so then you get to actually rewrite the story. So the S is actually the shift and the reframing of your
Mm.
perceiving self. Okay.
Okay.
I'm reframing the old belief to this empowering truth that now you stand in. Okay. So, and the question is, if I were already free, already whole, already worthy, how would I show up?
Yeah, fascinating. Uh-huh. So I see, yeah, it's the awareness, it's the shifting gears on what was into what is, and then creating a whole new sense of yourself that's going to manifest or become your new reality, how you show up in the world.
It's a new reality, a different identity,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, I mean it's amazing when that happens. I've been through this, this whole work and everything, and it's amazing where I can just look every day now and be free, and
Mhm.
things still trigger me, but I'm
Sure.
able to like go, oh, because this is our world, right? However, we can rewrite that narrative because that narrative was from back then. That was somebody else's narrative that we actually put on, like a piece of clothing, right? We didn't even know
Yes.
we did it. It's just the way we survived when we were younger, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I always say, so I always say in uncertainty, right? There are pure possibilities. There's so many possibilities for us, right? So now you get to see a different world for yourself.
So you're helping folks to really get in touch with and see the possibilities and then see their potential for making those possibilities a reality for themselves,
Yes.
which is so
Yeah.
powerful. That's so powerful. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, but the
And
real work then starts, right? Because we
yeah,
can
well,
do
of
all of
course.
this, like at a retreat for a weekend that I do, we can do all this, but what really happens is the practice,
Well,
you
exactly.
know?
Making that stick, making that
Yeah.
new version of yourself into a true reality because
Yeah.
so easy to, yeah, go to a retreat, shift gears in all these ways and be really excited about the possibility, the potential. But then you find yourself back in your everyday old reality and it's hard to stay in that new place that you've created. So how do we do that? How do you help folks to
Yeah.
do
So
that?
some of the things that I do, I have people do different things. So I have people do timelines, right? To everything they
Mhm,
can possibly remember. Just take some colorful markers, big sheet of paper, put some nice happy music on, and just go back and remember everything you possibly can remember, right?
mhm,
From the beginning of time. And with no judgment, opinions, or anything, just write down what happened, good, bad, or indifferent, right?
mhm.
Right. And
Yep.
so, and the other thing that we do, and then we look at that basically, and we can see the patterns, right?
Mhm,
Really clearly. Like I saw mine every 7 years. I'm like, I felt loved, heard, held, and safe, and all these different things. And then I didn't for a period of
mhm,
time. And then
mhm,
I did, and then I didn't. Right.
mhm,
And so that was my world in my adult world too. Right. I just like continue that pattern, right? Until I figured it out. Um, I also help people like do a painting, right? So with
mhm,
the retreats and stuff, we do a painting at the end where they can color what they see now. It's a blank canvas
mhm,
basically, and
mhm.
you get to create and design the next chapter of your life. So that's one of my big things is that we're all masterpieces, right?
Yeah.
Of our true
Mhm,
self. We just have to like bring it out, right? And like start like just putting it down, putting it on paper. Some people like to journal. The painting is really great. Some people need to like start with going to axe throwing or going to a break room, right? So they can get this stuff out, right? I mean, they still
right.
are holding a lot of anger and stuff. So there's all kinds of different tools that we can use. I think really when we start identifying, who the woman is and we see the authenticity and the vulnerability, then we can
Mhm.
actually start challenging them to do different things in baby steps so they can have evidence that that's not holding them hostage anymore. Because they will
Yeah.
come up,
Mhm.
it will come up, right?
Sure, sure. And I
And then
love the baby
also,
steps. I love the baby steps because you're helping folks to see the progress along the way and that they don't have to go from point A to point Z all at once because that is not generally possible.
no, it's not at all. That's how we like just get back, right? That's where like we're going, 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 going. And then what happens? We meet someone in like even in the dating world, right? We meet somebody because I'm dealing this with my youngest daughter right now. And we're so used to her father wasn't a very nice gentleman
Mm,
and a lot of emotional abuse. And what happened was, she's so used to that on the male
mm,
side that she picked those people, right?
mm.
And then when
Right.
those people tried to leave, she chased them even more because that's her norm. But
Sure.
now she's met this wonderful person, right? Just
Hmm.
recently. And her first thing was like, okay, she doesn't know what to do. And she's
Right.
doing great. But I'm like, that's just, you don't self-sabotage that because it's different. This is good. Your normal was so not normal, right?
Mm,
Normal for you that you don't know what good looks like, right? And I also use an example also, and I know women that are listening can come up with their own examples, but like even me, I was dehydrated for so many years because I never drank water. I just drank
mm.
coffee, right?
Ah,
Right?
yes.
So
Uh-huh.
I just was I that was my normal. I didn't even know any different.
Right.
And then when I
Right.
got sick and I had to start drinking water all the time, then I
Uh-huh.
realized how great I felt. So now what happens when I get sick, right? Like I was sick last month
Mm-hmm.
and I get dehydrated. I'm like, I know what that is. that's dehydration. I got to go grab some water.
Nice. Yeah, right. And it's so, yeah, it's so powerful how those messages can translate, right? And then all of a sudden you know what you need in the moment. And in that case, water or what have you. But yeah, yeah. And so really helping women to reframe and understand themselves more fully in the now, and then to live that version of themselves. And so I think that's such a powerful thing, so important, because it's so easy to get moving so fast through life that we don't even realize that it could be different, or we could be accessing more of our potential in various ways. And so you're working with folks individually as well as in
Groups.
groups, in your retreats and such.
Yep.
Talk a little bit about the different avenues, different paths for, doing this work
Okay.
within
So
your
the one-on-one
context.
coaching is really one-on-one coaching.
Hmm. Hmm.
um, every month for multiple times, where someone really does a deep dive. We really get like really intimate to the point where I really can understand everything, right?
Hmm.
I like to do things in 90-day increments.
Hmm.
So like 6 months is like the one-on-one coaching, usually about 6 months. And every month we check in to see, do you remember where you came from? Where are we today, right? And every 90 days, there's big changes, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So there's that coaching. And then there's the group coaching, right? That's a 12-week coaching program where you're in with other women and everybody's learning from each other. So I do some upfront method and some mindset work. And then we do a little coaching at the end where everybody can learn from each other.
Hmm.
And then also the retreats. The retreats are 2.5 days. So they always start out with a happy hour. So the women, and it's only 15 women.
Hmm.
And basically, it's a happy hour where everyone's bonding and feels that safe container. So they can
Mm.
be really authentic and vulnerable. And the next day, we do breath work, which is so important these days.
Oh yeah.
Um, have you done breath work?
Yeah, yeah. And I teach a little bit of version of some breath work to really help folks to quiet their mind and sort of kind of quell their central nervous system, because it's really the place where we need to be to launch into any sort of change, or just, have that kind of a baseline so we can navigate challenge too.
Yeah, which is why I start Saturday morning with the breath
Mm.
work.
Nice.
And then we're actually, and the point of women eating together actually really changes the dynamic of the environment and like what the conversations that you're having also. And so then that Saturday is all about mindset work. A lot of
Hmm.
solo exercises they do, group exercises, right? And then I also have some people that have been through the work that actually are going to speak, right? So the women can see the transformation of a couple people. And
Excellent.
then we have breakfast and lunch every day. And then that night, women can do what they want to do. Like we
Hmm.
want to give them Saturday night. Like if they all want to get together and go to dinner, that's great. If they want to do some, some solo stuff, that's great too. But that space is for them to do whatever they choose to do. And
Nice.
then Sunday we come back and have a brunch. And then I do coaching that day with them.
Mm. Okay.
Perhaps.
So coaching half the day, like a group coaching
Oh, it's
or
one-on-one. We're all
one
in
on
one
one.
room and
Got
like
it.
I'll ask somebody what, if they have a question or what they want some help with. And then there's coaching that happens right there and then.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So
Yeah.
really a comprehensive experience for these women to come away with not only a new version of themselves, but also tools to help that kind of stick as they
Yeah.
move forward. I love
Well, and the
that.
biggest tool of all through all of this is that there's a group of women when somebody like gets during that Sunday time, if somebody like breaks down or something, there's a group of women that get to
Mm.
support and hold them,
Yeah.
right? Like, because that's what we need. We need to be seen, heard, and held, right? And
Yes.
safe.
Yeah.
So that's what happens. And so my vision over the next few years is to
Yeah.
take these retreats that I'm doing in different states
Hmm.
and every 15 women, we're creating a community across the globe, right?
Oh
And
yeah.
my
I
goal
love
is to
it.
have 1,000 women in this community where everybody's supporting each other, right? So, and also what I realized through the whole coaching program is people take these classes at some point, like we were talking about, and then they lose it and then they don't use it. So
Right.
I want to be able to make sure that things are continuing, right? So women aren't just going back to all their triggers and stuff, right? Because, it does happen.
Of course. Of course. Yeah.
The
It,
community is
it
huge. Huge,
Community
huge.
is huge. Yes, yes. And the way you mentioned that women can learn from each other as they're in the retreat and such. So I love that. This idea of a global community to make these kinds of shifts. Because really what you're doing is you're helping women to access their best selves and to live according to that model, whatever it looks like for them. Because obviously there's no one size fits all, and what
Right.
makes us our best, right?
Right.
So,
And that's why I created the pause, because I started my pause with walking to the mailbox
mhm.
just to get just a moment to myself, right? So it doesn't have to be this big thing. It just has to be a moment that you're like, something's not like aligning with something.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
it's not
it's
because it's something outside of you, it's something inside of you, right? So, just to take a moment, just to have a little bit like, what's going on with me, right? That's where it starts.
yeah,
And that was
yeah,
my mailbox walk. And I still walk to my mailbox and do the same thing every day. And I love it, right? Sometimes I'll take the mail, I won't read it, I'll open it, I'll go to but just a moment just to be out, in the sunlight for myself, right?
yeah,
And I
a
take lots
moment.
of pauses. I've taken a year pause, I've taken a 5-year pause from work once. I've took a 4-month pause. Took a pause after I quit my last job in the mortgage company I was at. I just got to the point where I'm like, this isn't for me. And I went up to the mountains and I disconnected my phone and everything so nobody could find me for a week. And I got a cabin on the creek.
I love that, right? And that is really one of the best gifts we can give ourselves, doing something like that, right? And I'm sure you came back with a new perspective, a new eye on the direction that you wanted to move. And
Yeah.
I mean, so much power in that. I love it. I love it. And really, in all of this, you're helping women not only to become the best versions of themselves, but to become more resilient, to be able to manage through and beyond challenge that is inevitably gonna come up for all of us. And so I love that. And I imagine that through this process, through taking your own pauses, you see and feel yourself becoming more resilient.
Oh, wow. I mean, I can give you a great example. I talk about my younger daughter, and she was dating this person that I disliked. Let's just
Mhm.
call it that. I can come
Yeah.
up with other words, but disliked. And it was a long, long years of this, right? So, and I felt myself mentally not being able to deal with it and just getting really upset, and we were fighting and blah, 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 blah. I think when I realized just, what, I don't need to react to that anymore. I just need to love on her
Mhm.
and like just get through this.
Mhm.
And I freed myself up from reacting. I became a different person for her. And then things just started going in the right direction. I started praying for her every day. I mean, it's just interesting. Even like, I've had, stuff with my mom, you know, we have different times with our mothers, and everybody does, right? And hopefully lots of people have an amazing relationship with their mom. And I have a great relationship with my mom, but for a long time we didn't talk. Like we're years and years and years. And so, and she would just bother me. There were just things that would bother me about it. But now I'm just like, who she is, right? I have not lived in her world when she was a small child. I don't know what happened, right? And she hasn't done this work. So, but I can actually not have any judgment or opinions and just let her be the human being she is. And I just limit the time that I spend. And now my time is really great. Like I just had a great Mother's Day with her, probably the best one I've ever had, right? And I'm so thankful for it. But, I don't see her 3 times a week now. To be in the mundane of going grocery shopping and stuff, she has friends that do that. I have this specific amazing time, and it's limited to like 4 hours, and it's amazing, right?
Right.
So I'm just aware of what I need, or the rooms that I'm in, if the energy's off or the frequency's off, right? I mean, like I have people that I love the one-on-one time, but I don't want to do the one-on-many because
Right.
we're not the same people when we're in rooms of more than just me and you. So
Right.
then I strategically spend one-on-one time with that person.
Precisely that. Yeah, such powerful examples there of how you can really create the context where you'll be at your best, and you'll, you know, experience the best in other people too. Like for example, the example with your mom, and I think that's a really important point. And it's often something that We miss because we have all of the feelings of we have to do certain things and things have to be in a certain way. And really
Oh,
cutting through that is so very
exhausting.
important. Yeah, yeah. And cutting through that is so very important. And so, wow, this is such powerful information. And I know that our listeners will get so much value. Um, Shifting gears just a little bit, I always
Yeah.
ask my guests kind of what defines them outside of the amazing work that they do, hobbies, passions, that sort of thing.
Well, my new hobby, now that I'm in my 60s, is travel.
Nice.
I do travel from North Carolina every other month to California because that's where my kids and my grandbabies are. My mother
Mhm.
is here. I moved her here. I got a cottage and she lives here. My dad, so my entire family and my business is in California as well, most of it. So I come here to get my pause, my retreat, my guests on podcasts like yourself,
Mhm.
and have my downtime because I love it here. It's very busy in California, but I love being with my family. Um, and so I'm a beach girl, but I'm also a mountain girl.
Awesome.
Yeah. And like even now, my friend just flew into from California last night, and we're off to, I think it's called Edinburgh or some. She found a little quaint little historical town 4 hours from here, which I would have never known about. So we're taking off tomorrow to go see that, and then we have a castle we're going to go see in Winston-Salem. So we're just going to take 3 days and like just go because it's a break for me. And
Mhm.
I'm like, let's go. And I never did that when I was younger. I was just so busy raising my three kids and being a single parent, which I was for 26 years. I didn't have time for me to even adventure out. My kids were the ones that said, Mom, you need to get some hobbies. I'm like, what's that?
What does that mean? Yeah,
What is
yeah,
that? So,
right.
I had to like, let me figure that out. I don't know if you know the movie Runaway Bride. I have a lot of my clients watch that movie because she doesn't know who she is. She's just what everybody else wants her to be. And at
Right.
the end, she runs away from the guy she really loves to find out who she is. Right.
Mm.
And so it's just an amazing movie to go back and watch to really like. One of the biggest scenes is that she tries all kinds of different eggs to figure out what she likes because she'd just been liking what everybody else liked. And then she
That
really didn't like any of that.
Yeah, and that's a common experience, right? And so taking that time, taking that look at ourselves to figure out what it is we really like and what we need to be at our very best. And I think that's such an important message and so important. So I love the fact that you're out there traveling now and experiencing new
Yeah.
things and having cool experiences and adventures. That's awesome.
And I have a
That's
1 year
awesome.
old grandbaby that I just adore.
Oh, that's
Right.
fun. Oh my
Yeah, I gotta go
goodness.
back. Like that's why I go back every month because he's growing and I'm like, I don't want to miss anything.
Yeah, yeah, and they grow fast, trust me. So, I mean, well, you already
Yeah.
know that, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So fast. But I do have one quote from Shakespeare that kind of like ties all this together.
mhm,
And
mhm.
he says that basically nothing is neither good nor bad, only thinking makes it so.
That's a very powerful quote, and it ties it all together, right? And because our minds are so powerful in how they can create meaning when it really doesn't have to be that way.
Well, and a lot of it is just BS thinking
Right.
because it's really not true.
Yeah,
If you really dive
precisely.
deep, it's
Yeah,
really not true. It
precisely.
happened to you when you were 14 and you get to change the story.
Exactly. I love that. That is a
But
great,
your brain wants you to stay comfortable, so it's going to like really try hard to keep you there,
it's
which
gonna
is why you need other people to help you.
Absolutely. Well, Karen, I can't tell you how powerful this information is, and I know that our listeners are really going to benefit. How can folks learn more, get in touch with you, all that
Yeah.
good stuff?
Well, they can go to my website at karenbartholomew.com. It's really easy. My Instagram is Karen Bartholomew. My Facebook is Karen Bartholomew. And they can always call me directly too, at my cell phone number. It's 925-998-1360. If you go to my website, there's a clarity call that they can, put their information in. I'll give them a call and we'll have a 15-20 minute call and see if, whatever I have available is right for them. And if not, I have lots of people and resources that I can like direct them to.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here with us today. This is great.
Thank you so much, Kate. It was fun.
Thanks for being here, all. And as always, please share your ideas and feedback with me. And please, if you like what you're hearing, subscribe to the show. Until next week, onward.